Good afternoon. Welcome. Glad you could join us today. So let's get started talking about power conditioning on Go for Lunch for August 27th, 2024. Brought to you by GoFor Technology. I am Roger Harmon, your host, and we're here to make your technology work for you. This is National Cinema Day. Hi, Chris. And in the past, they've had a discount for tickets on this day, but I couldn't find any indication that they were doing that this year. But there are ways to save money when you go to your local theater. Another thing that I want to let you know about is there is an IMAX screen here in Tucson at the AMC Foothills. That's at Foothills Mall at Ina and La Cholla. So if you want to see a movie in IMAX, you can do it right here in Tucson. So the different theater chains have special deals. This is from Cinemark, but AMC and Hanson have similar programs. So they have movie clubs. You have one level that's free, and then you have another level where you have a monthly payment, and you get one free ticket a month. There are discount Tuesdays where the movies are cheaper on Tuesdays. Also, some movies are cheaper early in the day. There's also senior discount days, as well as student and military discounts. So check those out at your local theater's website. Another way to save money when you go to the movies is Movie Pass. So this is a service. It starts at $10 a month that lets you see up to 3 movies. I've been a member. It went out of business for a while, but it's back, and it seems to be working fine. So you can see a movie for $3.33. If you see 3 movies a month, you're in good shape. So check out Movie Pass if you like to go to the movies, which is certainly a great place to be going when it's over 100 degrees. So we're going to talk about power conditioning today, and unfortunately the inspiration was one of my clients that had a lightning strike very close to her house, and it damaged 2 cable boxes and created an error on her Mac, which rendered it inoperative. And when she took it to the Apple store, they said it would cost $400, maybe more, to repair it. So I think she's going to be getting a new Mac Mini. So here are some things to consider as far as lightning safety from the Weather Bureau. No place outside is safe. Stay off of corded electronics. Avoid plumbing. I guess that means don't hide in the bathroom. And stay away from windows and doors. And don't lie on bare concrete floors. So some rules to live by. So some precautions that you can take. Again, when the thunder roars, go indoors. You don't want to be outside. You don't want to be the tallest thing in the area. You don't want to hide under a tall tree or next to power poles or metal fences. So you just want to stay away from anything that is tall or conducts electricity. And also, not only during the monsoon, but anytime when you're leaving your house for an extended period, you should disconnect any electronics from your wall outlet. So, however, if you have some home automation cameras or something like that that you want to be able to check on while you're away, then of course you want to keep those plugged in and make sure your internet is working. So why is it that we need to condition power? Well, many years ago, I went to a meeting from Tucson Electric Power, TEP, and they basically said they're doing all they're going to condition power. At one place that I lived, I had a uninterruptible power supply, a UPS, that had a little alarm on it that beeped at 8 o'clock in the morning and around 6 o'clock at night. And this was when the power company was switching the load from their business customers to their residential customers. So that was every day that there was a power surge that was being picked up by my UPS. So this happens year round. There are blackouts, especially in the summertime when everybody's using their air conditioners. And when the power is restored from a blackout, you can get a surge. And of course, the storms that we're experiencing, but can happen any time of the year. There are construction mistakes. That backhoe operator that didn't check with Blue Stake before digging and digs up a fiber line or a power line or a cable line. And then there's traffic accidents where a vehicle runs into a power pole. And obviously that can happen any time of the year. So we have the surges, which we've kind of talked about. And those can be external, coming down your power line to your house, or they can be in your house. So sometimes if a motor starts up, like on a washing machine, that can cause a surge. Of course, there is lightning, which we're talking about a lot here. So there are two basic kinds of surge suppressors usually built into a power strip with multiple outlets. One is called the sacrificial, and the reason for that is that it uses a metal oxide varistor, also known as an MOV, and the MOV breaks down as it blocks surges. So after a while, it's completely broken down and doesn't stop surges anymore. So any quality power strip has a little light on it that shows whether you're protected or not. So your homework today is to go crawl under your desk or wherever you have surge suppressor power strips and make sure that little light, usually it's a green light for protection and a red light for power. And if that green light, or whatever color it might be, is not illuminated, you need to replace it because your MOV is destroyed and is no longer protecting you from surges. And we'll guide you on what to replace that power strip with. So the other kind of surge suppressor is a non-sacrificial. So it uses circuitry to monitor and restrict the maximum amount of voltage, also known as the clamping voltage. And then it shuts off the distribution of power to all your devices connected to that surge suppressor and protects them because it happens so fast. So because it doesn't use an MOV, these surge suppressors last much longer. They are more expensive because they have more components, but in the long run, they're probably a better investment because you wouldn't have to replace them as often. So here's the insides of 3 different kinds of power strips with surge suppression circuitry. The first one here is your least expensive one, probably in the $20 range. And as you see here, there are not very many components in here. The second section example is the probably $50 range. And as you can see, this has quite a bit of circuitry in it. and many of these models will automatically stop working if the MOV is completely compromised. And then we have the non-sacrificial surge suppressor, and as you can see, this is filled with circuitry. Part of it is to sense the over voltage, and part of it is to shut it down before it can go out these outlets here and damage your equipment. Also, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but notice here we have two F connectors. These are the connectors that are used for your cable television and your cable modems. So that's a nice feature. Speaking of features, what features should you be looking for? Well, automatic shut-off when it's no longer protecting. So a decent surge suppressor using an MOV will automatically shut off when it's no longer protecting your circuitry. Offset outlets to accommodate power brick. And you should use name brand products. There's two links down below that will give you a list of ones that you should consider. You also should look for noise filtration, both EMI, which is electromagnetic interference, and RFI, which is radio frequency interference. Also, power cord extenders can be useful when you don't have widely spaced outlets for those power bricks. Here's an example. So this part here plugs into your power strip, and then it extends the outlet out so you can plug in those bulky power bricks. So this one is about $3, or you can get a pack of 4 for less than $10. So your joule rating should be fairly high, like maybe in the 3,000 to 4,000 volt area. The higher the number, the better protection. Another thing to look for is the connected equipment warranty. So this is an insurance policy that many companies offer. If any of your devices are damaged when connected to their surge suppressor, they will pay to replace it. So make sure you file your receipts so you have a proof of purchase. And sometimes this process is a little tedious, but if you stick to it, you can get reimbursed for damaged equipment. So any surge suppressor needs to be plugged directly into a wall outlet. Never plug it into another power strip. And so because of that requirement, you might want to consider the length of the power cord that comes with a surge suppressor. Some of them are 6 feet. Some of them are 10, 12, 15, even 18 feet. So figure out where your closest outlet that's available is located and get a surge suppressor with a cord that'll reach from your equipment to that outlet. Some have USB charging ports, which can be a convenience and save you from having to connect a cable to your computer and take up a valuable port. Also, as I mentioned, you want to have coaxial cable connectors, if at all possible, to protect the path that lightning might take over your cable. Ethernet ports are another feature that would be good. If your surge suppressor doesn't have that, you can buy separate Ethernet port suppressors. So where would you put these surge suppressors? Well, needless to say, you want to have your computer plugged into that. If you have a MacBook, of course it has its own battery, and It may not need to be plugged into a surge suppressor, but it would be a good idea if you have available outlets. Your monitor, disk drives, your printer, and then another place you want a surge suppressor is your home entertainment center. So in your living room or anywhere you have a television, you should have a surge suppressor. If you have a home theater receiver, if you have soundbar or subwoofer and a DVD player or any other components that are part of your home entertainment system, such as a turntable, should all be connected to a surge suppressor. So that brings us to our questions. And also a reminder that Zoom Workplace has been updated to version 6.1.11. And please share the GoFor Gazette with anybody that you know that uses Apple devices. We are having a little bit of a problem with the GoFor Gazette, and that explains the problem. There was a privacy setting that was changed apparently in a Mac OS update. I started noticing it about 3 weeks ago, and we are still trying to figure out that. So if you didn't receive the GoFor Gazette, which should come to your email box every Monday morning about 7 o'clock, we're trying to take care of that. So let's see what your questions are. So I thank you for the thumbs up. And Doriana says she got a notice on her iPad a few minutes ago. Okay, so that notice will come when you subscribe and ding the little bell. Click on the little bell, and then you'll get a notice when I start broadcasting at 11:55. So if you haven't already, ding the bell. And Bob, we are not going to put you in detention, so don't worry. Be happy. So I hope you find this useful. Also, next week we're going to continue our power protection theme, talking about UPSs and whole house suppressors. So you may want to wait until next week before you go out and buy a surge suppressor after we learn about whole house suppressors. So Bob makes a good point. A laser printer, or actually any printer, should not be connected to a UPS because they draw too much power. But it's okay to attach them to a surge suppressor. And you're welcome, Chris. Hope everybody looks at the links below. There's a lot of good information there and recommendations on highly regarded products that suppress surges. If you think of anything that you would like to have presented on GoFor Lunch, you can call me or email me at the information that will be coming up on your screen shortly. So if there's no more questions, have a great rest of your day and week, and we'll see you next week for GoFor Lunch on Tuesday at high noon.